Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker. Great to have you along this week for the first official fall show of the fall sports season. Hope you've recovered from your autumnal equinox celebrations. There was quite the non-cause for celebration over the weekend. As you may have heard, TMZ reported on Saturday that more risque celebrity photos had been hacked and posted on websites from the iCloud. Kim Kardashian, Vanessa Hudgens, Mary-Kate Olsen, and Olympic soccer star Hope Solo have all apparently been victimized in the latest round of iCloud leaks. Now, although I'm anything but a celebrity, sadly and regrettably, I too had some photos made public that I feel, since they're out there, require some explanation. Hey, we all have a past, and it includes some things we're not too proud of, right? Don't all selfies seem like a good idea at the time? And this was after the polar bear plunge a couple years ago. My brain had frozen to the point that I thought I'd become professional wrestler Damien Sandow. And just where is the robe from the previous pic now? Yep, the world wants to know. In fact, they demand it, and they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's tough to find any good ones for any of those. Even I can't unsee those. Ahead on the show, and you know it can only get better from here, it has to. The county soccer tournament's championship game matchups are set. I'll show and tell you how that happened. A big cross-country invitational went down this past Saturday. Highlights and reaction on the way. I'll introduce you to the heroes of the gridiron from St. James, reveal the newest Inside Sports Tony's Pizzeria premier performer, and it all starts with Week 3's football, an outstanding one for the county, when you come back.
Behind every great child, there is a great foundation. Premier Martial Arts will empower your child and give them a premier foundation to success. Our instructors have the passion to teach classes designed to build premier skills. Your child will develop greater self-control, confidence, and concentration. Premier Martial Arts will take your child up the path of greatness. Call Premier Martial Arts today.
Sometimes your whole season comes down to 15 seconds and you don't get a second shot. So let Keystone Sporting Goods keep you and your equipment spot on. Their full-service archery pro shop works on any bow or crossbow, even if you didn't buy it from them. Keystone carries the best brands of bows and crossbows, plus a large selection of long guns, handguns, and black powder. Plus, Keystone's indoor archery shooting range allows you to try it before you buy it. Let the pros from Keystone Sporting Goods get you and your equipment ready for whatever walks through your sights. Visit Keystone on Pennsylvania Avenue today, because your season depends on it.
For over 25 years, Tony's Pizzeria has been serving authentic Italian cuisine. Open daily for lunch and dinner. Stop by today and enjoy one of their many house favorites, made fresh from scratch daily, in the newly expanded and remodeled dining area. Serving a full liquor bar, beer, and wine, Tony's 50-person banquet room is perfect for your next celebration. Dine in, take out, or delivery. Come see what's new at Tony's Pizzeria Restaurant and Grill, 10 East Salisbury Street in Williamsport.
Welcome back to the show. As week number 3 of the high school football season started, 3 county teams were still in pursuit of victory number 1. For Williamsport, after failing to take advantage of playing within shouting distance of its school in weeks 1 and 2, the Wildcats boarded the bus for a 43-mile trek to Union Bridge last Friday night. And once they got off that bus, the Cats were more than ready to stretch their legs at Francis Scott Key's expense. Jordan Stonebreaker got Williamsport's seemingly continuous march to the end zone started less than 2 minutes into the game as the Wildcats jumped out to an 8-0 lead, an advantage that he extended to 16-0 by dashing in again on their very next possession. From there, it was running mate Savon Brown who joined the scampering scoring parade, first darting in from 11 yards out to up the margin to 24-0 after the first quarter, and then the quarterback embarked on an old 64-yard dash, rendering the FSK defense helpless on the way to his second of 5 touchdown jaunts for the night. Stonebreaker got the baton again and darted in for his third, part of a 134-yard performance for him late in the second quarter. As for the much maligned Williamsport D, it played much better, limiting the Eagles to a pair of field goals on 3 first-half red zone trips and even put the game on ice with a takeaway, as the Wildcats made their first W a resounding one, 62-22. And it's a Williamsport win-win as we waste no time In handing out this week's Tony's Pizzeria Premier Performer Award, it goes to Savon Brown, who accounted for 334 of Williamsport's 468 total yards, 260 of those on the ground. And oh, by the way, he scored 34 points. After all of that, I'm thinking he could use a large pizza from Tony's. Congratulations to Savon Brown, whose Herculean individual efforts helped raise Williamsport's record to 1-2, with Blue Hot Boonesboro on deck for homecoming. Another team who hasn't exactly found playing the host to its liking so far this young season is Clear Spring. While the Blazer offense enjoyed the home cooking the first 2 weeks, the defense didn't find it nearly as palatable, coughing up a combined 71 points in those games. Since hanging 52 on the scoreboard had yet to produce a win, Clear Spring was out to outdo itself 114 miles from home Friday night in Petersburg, West Virginia. A wasted trip it would not be. Sophomore Joey McCoy, who entered the game averaging 159 yards per game, was virtually untackleable. McCoy carried the ball 19 times for 219 yards and scored 4 touchdowns, upping his county leading totals to 536 and 10 respectively. The Clear Spring defense turned in its most solid performance so far, spearheaded by interceptions by senior linebacker Travis Capizzuto and senior defensive back Brandon Blair, who aided the offense with his running it back 97 yards for 6 of the Blazers' 51 points in a dominating 51-12 pummeling of Petersburg. With the first win out of the way, Clear Spring will try for number 2 Friday night at Hancock. After last Friday night, North Hagerstown is still working on number 1, but working is the key word. The Hubs acknowledge the negatives like just 115 total yards, 2 first downs, 0 for 6 on third down conversion attempts, and 4 turnovers, but they also see the strides they're making on which they can build, holding Linganore to 4.7 yards per play, recording 7 tackles for loss, breaking up 2 passes, and scoring their first passing touchdown of the season, 60 yards from Andrew Fiery to Preston Carey in the third quarter. Even though it came up on the short end of a 46-6 final, North's optimism is understandable given that the Hubs have faced 3 teams ranked in the state's top 20 so far. Luckily for them, they go from number 6 to number 18 this week. North plays at Fort Hill Saturday night. While the reigning 1A state champs await the Hubs last Friday in Boonesboro, the Warriors welcomed the reigning 3-time 2A state title holders from Middletown. The Warriors were coming off a convincing win over FSK 7 days earlier, but they came in 2-32 all-time against the Knights and had lost the last 10. They had no shot. Wait, what did Donnie Drawbaugh say right here last week?
A lot of it is going to be execution from play to play. We can't look at, what's going to happen in the third quarter or the fourth quarter. It has to be what's going to happen next down. We all have to produce.
But it didn't start out nearly that smooth. On the third play of the game, Corey DeBaugh fumbled and Middletown recovered at the Warrior 37-yard line. The Boonesboro D rose to the occasion, though, and after the teams exchanged punts, the third Warrior possession produced the game's first points when Bo Bodenheimer turned Jeff Bennett's 11-yard pass into a 59-yard TD and a 7-0 lead with 2:54 left in quarter number 1. Boonesboro nearly continued its good fortune on the ensuing kickoff, but despite the Warriors' attempts to convince the officials, it was ruled that Middletown managed to cover the free football at its own 23. Key because on the very next play, the Knights answered the Warriors' touchdown to pull within a point just 19 seconds after Boonesboro had scored. On the heels of a Warrior 3-and-out, Middletown drove to the Boonesboro 5-yard line where a first and goal eventually turned into a failed field goal attempt. Then, after the Warriors' D turned in another 4th down stop, the Bennett to Bodenheimer connection clicked again, this time for 81 yards to make it 14-6, 1:05 before halftime. Boonesboro stopped Middletown again on the third quarter's opening series before the Warriors hit 2 big plays. The first, a 39-yard burst by Owen Glass to the Middletown 37 that set up the second. Bennett's third scoring strike of the game to Bodenheimer, extending the Boonesboro advantage to 21-6 with 9:57 to play in the third. And on the following Warrior possession, they made it a 3-score game when Zach Grams burst off the right side and threw the numerous arm tackle attempts for 21 yards to make it 28-6 Boonesboro. But 18 minutes and 48 seconds of regulation football remained, and it took Middletown all of 2 minutes and 39 seconds to navigate 69 yards in 9 plays to cut the lead in half. And still, there was more Middletown. On their next drive, the Knights scored again to snug the game up to 1 score at 28-21 with 10:22 to go in the fourth. Now clinging to a 7-point lead, Boonesboro nearly gave Middletown the football moments later and would have if not for the quick reaction of right tackle Justin Shem. The Warriors would wind up punting it away 2 plays later, and the Knights appeared on their way to tying the game thanks to a 68-yard run to the Boonesboro 7, but a block in the back penalty wiped the play out and Middletown ended up having to punt. The Warriors failed to do anything with the football and turned it over on downs. Middletown proceeded to drive to Boonesboro's 49 before senior DB Chris Jenkins intercepted a pass with just 59 seconds to go to seal the Warrior win over Middletown. The last 5 times the two schools had played, Middletown had outscored Boonesboro 204-46. But the Warriors prevail on Friday night to snap a 10-game losing streak in a trying series and now prepare for a series they've owned. Boonesboro takes its 2-1 record to Williamsport against the Wildcats team it's defeated in 3 straight and 13 of the last 14 meetings. Coach Kellick and I will have the call for the game that airs on Antietam Cable next week. Last Friday, School Stadium played host to a matchup of unbeatens as South Hagerstown sought to go to 3-0 against a Poolesville team it was 3-0 against all time. The Falcons won the coin toss but deferred, giving South the chance to possess the ball first, and the Rebels were more than grateful. Starting from their own 38-yard line, the Rebels converted a pair of 4th downs into 1st downs in fashioning a 10-play drive that culminated with quarterback T.J. Peer covering the final 12 yards, 3 minutes and 59 seconds in to put South in front 7-0. Junior defensive back Jason Smith kept it that way, short-circuiting Poolesville's first drive with a pick, still leading 7-0 in the second quarter, a period in which South had outscored opponents 42-6 coming in. The Rebels took advantage of a short field when Peer plowed in to cap a 37-yard drive to up the margin to 14. 4 minutes and 6 seconds later, Daniel Moore's 3-yard run made it 20-0 Rebels, a lead they held at halftime. After running 12 fewer plays, having the ball for just 8.5 minutes, and losing its leading rusher to a hip injury in the first half, Poolesville impressively authored a methodical 14-play, 68-yard drive that consumed nearly 7 minutes and ended with a Nick Fisher TD run. South followed by going 3 and out, and the Falcons' offense went right back to work. An 8-play, 66-yard drive produced Steve Morningstar's TD, and Poolesville suddenly had closed within 6 with 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Having had the ball for all of 95 seconds in the third, South made the most of its opening series of the fourth when Darian Robinson scooted 38 yards to pay dirt to push the Rebels back in front by 12 with just 41 seconds elapsed. Peer would close the scoring for South and the game by busting through the line on a 4th and short and going all the way to the house for his 3rd TD of the night as South Hagerstown prevailed 34-14. In so doing, the Rebels run their regular season win streak to 11 and start this one 3-0 with a trip to winless Catoctin coming up on Friday. Looking to bounce back from a last-minute loss last Friday, the Hancock Panthers were chomping at the bit to get back on the field and put it behind them. And literally, all they needed to do was get back on the field. From the game's opening kickoff, the Panthers were off and running and scoring. As he did the previous week, Jesse Wolford staked Hancock to the lead with a kickoff return touchdown, but this time there was plenty more where that came from. Wolford added 3 more first-quarter TDs, and his teammates more than contributed in an explosive 50-point first half that eliminated the late-game drama that cost them against Mount Carmel. The Panthers got squarely back on the winning track, crushing Carson Long 56-14. Now 2-1, Hancock hosts Clear Spring this Friday. Oh, what Smithsburg wouldn't give to be 2-1, although the Leopards could be 3-0. And as for that late game drama, they know it all too well. Smithsburg took a different route to get there this past week against undefeated North Carroll, though, because the Leopards didn't have a lead to lose in the fourth quarter like they did against Manchester Valley 7 days earlier. They were just scrambling to get one. After digging a 17-0 hole through 3 quarters, Smithsburg started the unearthing process, finishing a 63-yard drive 4 seconds into the final period when Dylan Curtis found Ali Robinson to get the Leopards on the board. When Smithsburg got the ball back, it found the end zone again. This time, Curtis ran it in, and the deficit was down to 5 points at 17-12. Needing one more touchdown, the Leopards recovered the onside kick and got as deep as the North Carroll 37-yard line before the dirt enveloped them for the final time. After 2 losing efforts away from Smithsburg, the Leopards are back home this week to take on 2-1 Brunswick. A team completely unfamiliar with anything but a goose egg in the loss column provides us with the heroes of the gridiron this week. St. James players in the house representing the maroon and white right after this.
Since 1963, you've been trusting the folks at Hagerstown Floors. It's still a family-owned and operated business featuring a variety of high-quality flooring choices for your home, like carpet, ceramic, hardwood, vinyl, and we offer floor sanding and refinishing for your existing hardwoods. And you'll find us stocked warehouse, full of flooring options for do-it-yourselfers or take advantage of our in-house installers for expert installation. Hagerstown Floors on Virginia Avenue in Hagerstown, the trusted name in flooring since 1963.
Cynthia Moeller Sullivan, awarded Coldwell Banker's Innovations Top 1% of Agents Worldwide Award, and also their #1 team in the state of Maryland Agents Award for 2013. Whether buying or selling, Cynthia and her team will use her proven success system to sell your current home or assist you in locating the home of your dreams. Call Cynthia today in her office, 301-745-1523, or her cell, 301-988-5115.
Wanna be one, number one, it's gotta be fun. Wanna be one, number one, it's gotta be fun. Punch it, kick it, giving it all. Premier Martial Arts helps take it to the top, y'all. Jab, cross, hook, kick, you feel it when we stick it. Wanna be one, winner, yeah, I won. I'm Premier, number one. Wanna be number one, kids? Have your parents call.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We continue now with more football. Heroes of the Gridiron join me from St. James School, and I've got, well, almost a seventh of the team right here. As Coach Jim Fahey said earlier, one guy for each win so far this season. So let me introduce them to you. I'll start with Grant Tribble on the end, Tyler George. I've got Sean Tolton and Noah Cisse. Welcome to the show, guys, and thanks for being here. Great season, as I mentioned, to this point in time, coming off a 20-12 win over St. John's Catholic Prep on Saturday. And let me go right to you, Grant. In that particular game, it was kind of a slugfest. Field position was very key throughout the course of the game. You make a big interception in that game in the end zone. Let's start with that and talk about that play because that was very pivotal at the time.
Yeah, we were inside our own 30 on defense, and we were manned up at that point, and I was just playing defense like how Coach Stills had taught us, and we just came up with an interception. It was a big play, and we were able to drive down the field and run more time off the clock and come away with the victory after that.
It was an interesting football game from the standpoint that you guys always had the lead in that game from the time that you scored off of the opening possession. But Tyler, as that game wore on, as I said, it was sort of a back and forth affair, and field position was so important. And when you know that, a game's sort of going in that direction, and you're playing defense the way that you guys were playing so well in that game. At one juncture, I think the first 4 times they had the football, they went 3 and out each time, and they had fewer yards than they had run plays. Does it take a little bit out of you defensively to have to tune in so much each play and to be that focused in a game like that?
Not really. It was mostly what we'd done in practice. We're focusing on their tendencies a lot, and so we were just running off what we did in practice.
Well, you did it extremely well. There's no question about it. How would you grade that defensive effort in that game?
I think we did very, very well.
Yeah, tremendous. And I think if there was an Achilles heel in the game, it might have been the penalties were committed. And I'm sure Coach Ruck probably talked to you guys about that this week. Would that be fair to say, Sean?
Yeah. We talked a lot at the beginning of the season about cutting down the penalties because that was one of the main parts of last year that was losing us the games that we lost. And so we continued to press in on don't get penalties. And so that's something that we need to continue to practice.
What else are you finding that is making a difference in this season? The 4-0 record is tremendous, but what's contributing to that right now as you see it as a senior?
I've been here at St. James for 5 years, and we've never had a team like this. We're completely balanced, I think. And so you really have to watch out for our passing game because we have the new quarterback, Tyler Raymond, and we can also run the ball with Gavin Smoot and Noah and Grant. Then we also have a pretty good defense as we showed on Saturday. So I think that we have a little bit of everything.
And Noah, speaking of running the football, there was one play in that game where you went sideline to sideline on a 4th down play. Had to be disappointed that you didn't get the first down out, but I mean, that effort was absolutely outstanding. Take me through that particular play and what was going through your mind.
It was 4th and 3, and initially we were going to do a passing play. And I wasn't very fond of doing a passing play on 4th and 3, so Coach Ritt decided that he was going to take it upon himself and switch the offensive line and state that we're going to run the ball down the throats regardless of the down and distance. We're going to get this first down. If we don't, it's my fault. So
wow,
we did that, and then the side I went to was actually overloaded. So the second I stepped out, I was trying to cut up field, but there was the end was not sealed well enough. So I tried to beat him to the sideline, and when I got there, I was approached by everybody.
Yes, you were.
So looking at film from Berkeley Springs, when I was playing quarterback for a play when Tyler Raymond was hurt, I saw that if I would have reversed field, I would have scored. So using that knowledge, I tried to cut back, and on the reverse, I still think I got the first down. And Huddle says the same thing, but the refs, I guess, thought it wasn't, but I had to try because it was a very pivotal play because that was going to be potential game-winning first down.
Well, very articulate explanation of that play. I didn't think there was any way that anything could be longer than the play itself, but the explanation was. But, man, you that was a very athletic play. I thought you had the first down too. In watching it myself, I thought, well, yeah, the first down. I go to the next play on Huddle, and they have the football. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't pay off in the end ultimately, but man, what a great play overall because you certainly tried to make something out of nothing as it played out. You guys 4-0, as I said, going into week number 5. And Grant, what do you need to continue to do in order to be successful as a team?
I think we just need to keep executing offensively and on defense, playing our game plan as we've played it.
Noah, is there an area where you think the team can improve, that can help you going forward? Because clearly at this point, you have to be thinking about running the table this season.
Yeah. I say our focus. I feel like we're very focused in practice, but when it comes to games, sometimes we have sloppy plays, holding calls, blocks in the back, small things like that, getting snaps up. So once we critique and get everything very fine and polished, then I don't think we're going to lose again.
Well, good luck to you guys the rest of the season. Thanks for being here today. You've got Maryland School for the Deaf coming up at home on Saturday, a 3-1 team there. And again, best of luck to you. And you really outdressed me today. I dressed up for the preview show, but I should have worn the tie today. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'll be back right after this. I've got the county soccer tournament to talk about and some cross country right after this.
For over 25 years, Tony's Pizzeria has been serving authentic Italian cuisine. Open daily for lunch and dinner. Stop by today and enjoy one of their many house favorites, made fresh from scratch daily, in the newly expanded and remodeled dining area. Serving a full liquor bar, beer, and wine, Tony's 50-person banquet room is perfect for your next celebration. Dine in, take out, or delivery. Come see what's new at Tony's Pizzeria Restaurant and Grill, 10 East Salisbury Street in Williamsport.
Mace Auto Body has been the collision expert since 1986. Over the years, vehicles and technology have changed, but their commitment to their customers has always remained the same. Mace utilizes the latest technology in finishing products and now has gone green by using EPA-approved Spies Hecker paints. Mace Auto Body is also a direct repair facility for most insurance companies and offers a lifetime warranty on all their work. You choose who repairs your vehicle, so call Mace Auto Body, the collision experts. Mace Auto Body, a family-owned and operated business since 1986, Route 64 and Bickle Road in Smithsburg.
Since 1963, you've been trusting the folks at Hagerstown Floors. It's still a family-owned and operated business featuring a variety of high-quality flooring choices for your home, like carpet, ceramic, hardwood, vinyl, and we offer floor sanding and refinishing for your existing hardwoods. And you'll find us stocked warehouse, full of flooring options for do-it-yourselfers or take advantage of our in-house installers for expert installation. Hagerstown Floors on Virginia Avenue in Hagerstown, the trusted name in flooring since 1963.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Well, we're finished with football this week, but I'm breaking out the sports fast-paced, no-huddle offense for this segment because there's still a lot to cover. For the lowdown on Saturday's 37th Frank Kaiser Invitational Cross Country Meet at Boonesboro, here's Warrior head coach Becky Walter with the small school skinny.
Well, I'm pretty impressed with how everybody did. It's great weather. Course is in great shape. We had Haley Wright come out and win this meet for the first time. Megan Grams made her season debut coming off of injury and started off the season pretty well. We had a lot of great performances, a lot of PRs all around. The girls team finished third overall behind Liberty and Century, who are pretty well-loaded two-way schools that will compete against all season long. And I think with Megan at full strength, we would have been right up there in the mix with them. Boys, we had Michael Bear with a phenomenal performance, and so many others just ran great races. So I really like where we stand right now.
Hand her a microphone and she does my job. Speaking of doing the job, it took the aforementioned Haley Wright 18 minutes, 8.1 seconds to race to victory, and she tells you just how she did it.
Megan and I kind of went out a little fast. The goal was to run about a 5:30 first mile. I don't think that happened, but then I started feeling really good along this stretch, and I thought that I would go ahead and start kicking it. So that's when I came into first place, went through the second mile. It was kind of hard, but I tried pushing it, and then the third mile just took it home.
Wright's margin of victory was 7.7 seconds, but that was less consequential to her than posting the win on her home course.
It's an amazing feeling. All the hard work we put on this course every day, and to be able to come out with a win is just fantastic. So I'm really happy.
As for Wright's usual partner in crime, Megan Grams, who finished 8th in her first race of the season at what Walter estimated was about 50%, the coach will work with her on reestablishing her mental edge.
Psychologically, I think it's a little tough coming out and having only run for maybe 5 days and coming out here and racing right away. So I think that's the toughest part, is just coming in, having not run more than 30 minutes in the past 5 days and having to step right on the line and get going.
And going forward, Walter says there's still plenty for her teams to learn between now and the second Saturday in November.
We'll talk about running smart races and not getting out too hard. We did have a few kids that went out a bit too hard for where they're at in the season right now, but I think that'll put them in good shape for the end of the season and just kind of staying strong in the middle of the race.
The day's other top 10 finishes came from Ella Hawkins, who was 9th for the girls, the previously mentioned Michael Bear, who placed highest for the boys and turned in the county's best time. He was 6th, 3 spots ahead of Brandon Turnbull. In the large school races, South Hagerstown's Darren Harmon was the lone county runner to land in the top 10. He was 9th. Narrowing the field to the final 4 was the objective at the 16th County Public Schools Soccer Tournament. Clear Spring hosted the girls' run to the championship final. 3-2 Smithsburg, a 4-1 winner over Clear Spring in the opening round, faced 3-0-1 North Hagerstown, a 2-0 victory over Boonesboro in the first semifinal, and it didn't take the Leopards long to seize the advantage. Sarah Duckworth booted home Haley David's pass in the 7th minute to put Smithsburg on the board. Then, just over 8 minutes later, Rebecca Morales made it 2-0 Leopards. Moments later, Alexis Pate's attempt to get one back was turned aside by Smithsburg keeper Corinne Burke. Burke kept everything out of the net until the 72nd minute when Logan Braun followed in Anna Scheck's free kick to tighten matters to a goal. But that was as close as North would get as Smithsburg advanced to play for the title for the 2nd year in a row. The question was, who would be the Leopards' opponent? Either the defending champs from Williamsport, who dispatched South in the opening round 6-0, or Clear Spring, who despite losing in the opening round based on goal differential and not getting shut out, was seeking a win that would gain head coach Brian Albert's team a tourney rematch against Smithsburg. The Blazers would first have to do something they had never done under Albert, beat the Wildcats. Perhaps Clear Spring's best chance to score in the game came right off the opening kickoff. As for Williamsport, missed opportunities ruled the day, from a first-half goal that was disallowed to innumerable second-half chances that Blazer keeper Jen Bowers was equal to, try as they might, and they did. The Cats just couldn't find the back of the net. The scoreless stalemate was left to be settled by penalty kicks. There, Clear Spring jumped out to a 3-1 lead when Gabby Conrad put this one in. But Williamsport built the drama, fighting back to even it on Hannah Moser's shot. That set the stage for Ashley Ardinger, who kicked the Wildcats out and the Blazers into the title game, a goal that also provided the Clear Spring team with its first victory of the year after 2 losses and a pair of draws. As for the boys, the semifinals there were contested at South Hagerstown's School Stadium. The first matchup pitted the reigning champs from Williamsport against the school the Wildcats defeated for the crown a year ago in Boonesboro. Goals were at a premium in this one, even with a well-designed Williamsport set piece in the 24th minute that produced 2 near misses. Both goalkeepers were sharp, with the Cats' Logan Nally handling his business in the 32nd minute, and the Warriors' Jarrett Rickards matching him about 11 minutes later to preserve a scoreless deadlock. Finally, with the game just over 3/4 old, Devin Schofield rang one off the post, and Connor Pashara was in the right place to bang home the rebound, the first goal of the junior's high school career, and the only one Boonesboro would need to advance to the title match. The Warriors' opponent would be determined via an opening round rematch between Clear Spring and Smithsburg. Clear Spring had won that one easily 5-2, so how could Smithsburg possibly turn the tables in 7 days? Plus, the Leopards didn't even own a win through 5 games coming in. Smithsburg was a decided underdog, but brought some bark and created some opportunities early, with Bobby Fink just missing high off the rebound. Leopard goalkeeper Tim Horning looked strong in net, foiling Brady Rohr, who had hung 3 goals on Smithsburg in their first meeting, this stop coming in the 16th minute. Smithsburg just missed backing Horning with the lead when Andrew Owens guided this header wide in the 34th minute. After Fink, who had that near miss early, had surprisingly put the Leopards on top, it was up to Horning to quash a superb individual effort by Clear Spring freshman Jarrett Lozic in the 56th minute. And then, about 90 seconds later, he and his teammates could breathe a sigh of relief when Lozic headed Colin Bucher's pass over the net. Horning ended the night with a hard-fought shutout as Smithsburg pulled off an improbable 1-0 win that almost as shockingly will have head coach Dominic Cardone's upstarts playing for the county championship. Dates and times and sites of the games are still to be determined. As for me, I'm out of time on this day and at this site. My apologies to golf and volleyball. I promise they'll get their just due next week. Thanks for watching for now, and I'll see you then on the inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Hey, don't complain to mother, they hiding under cover, you gotta get up on your feet. Now I feel it in my bones again, yeah, feel it, but you're never gonna let it in until you get up.